The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, North Las Vegas, on your new fire apparatus, job number 30363. Please utilize this job number when referencing your new apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment or Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. On the face of your bumper, you have two right and left electronic sirens. Moving just inward from that location, you have two or dual air horns. Also located in the center is a tubbed area for your front bumper line. Up onto the body itself, right and left turn indicators. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find your headlight cluster, where there is the low beam on the outside, high beam on the inside. Moving on to the top, you have a forward-facing emergency light. Located directly in the center, up underneath the Pierce logo, is the latch for your hood. Let's go ahead and move up onto the windshield area. You have three windshield wipers across the seamless front windshield. At the very top, you have your running lights evenly spaced. And located at the very top, a split emergency light bar. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the components here as we move in for close-ups of those areas. Let's start down at the bumper area. Once again, this is your electronic siren and dual air horns, right and left side. Your access for your front bumper load. Move back up onto the body, you'll find your headlight cluster, turn indicator, and emergency warning light. Located on the front grille is where you'll find your latch. Just reach underneath the Pierce logo and you'll find the latch to unlatch your hood. We're now looking at the turn indicator. Let's move down to that front bumper again. These are the two latches which drops down the front section of your bumper. The top section will then lift up, revealing the space, in addition with a center-mounted swivel 1.5" discharge port. Let's move up to the very top, looking inside the hood area. It is currently in the open position. Let's start on the left-hand side. On the left, you'll find your windshield wiper fluid fill location. On the right-hand side, you'll find your coolant. Also in the same vicinity, you'll find the raise and lower for your cab. These are the instructions. The yellow is a remote switch. The red is your lift or lower. Also located just to the right, you'll find your Dextron ATF fill location. You have two mirrors. They are split, one being on the top flat and the bottom section being concave. Left-hand side of the bumper, you'll find your shoreline inlet. Underneath your apparatus, you'll find two forward-facing fixed attachment eyelets. Also located into the front on both access doors for front and also the rear are perimeter lighting. In addition, in this section, your discharge drain for your front bumper. Located at your wheels, Goodyear 296s, Alcoa wheels. Located in the center, Stemco hub. This also has a visual indicator. Generalized view of the side of your apparatus. Let's take a look at your NLVFD logo. We'll move back down to the side of the vehicle. All of the entry point doors have keyed locks, in addition with grab wheels and perimeter lighting. This is going to be a step light in the upper front portion and also an emergency side-facing light. At the very top, you have a side-facing flood. Let's go ahead and move back midship area. You're going to find your number 1, number 2, and a 2.5-inch crosslay. We'll talk a little bit about some of the components in this area of your pump panel. Let's go ahead and start in the upper left-hand corner. First, you'll find, because of the hose coming off the top of this area, entanglement hazard. That's why there's a warning label. In addition, with your Husky 12 foam system instructions and also a layout plan of that. In addition, with in the red section here, your Pierce foam system. Next to it, your foam system tank A foam level. This is a reading of the amount of foam in the tank. Your master intake, just right of that in the same gray area, you'll find your master discharge. And just beneath that, you'll find two ports. These are test ports for vacuum and pressure. Let's go ahead and move all the way to the left and we'll move across. You'll find your front discharge with foam and water. Moving to the right, your number 1 crosslay located in yellow. Number 2 crosslay. And moving over to the gray area, the 2.5-inch crosslay. As you can see, all of these are clearly identified not only by color, but by labeling text. They are also foam capable. All the way to the right, the wheel is your aerial discharge. Down to the lower portion, this is going to be your Pierce maintenance schedule for scheduled 150, 200, and 250 test pressures. And beneath that, information regarding the warning labels and associated information in your owner's manual. Moving down from that location, you'll find your number 1 driver's side discharge. This is a foam capable. Also your number 2 discharge, non-foam capable. Number 3 discharge, non-foam capable. And number 4 discharge, non-foam capable. Those are all 2.5-inch discharge ports. To the very right in green, you'll find your large diameter discharge. This is on the passenger side of the vehicle. Let's go ahead and move up to the very top. This is your Pierce TPG. This is going to be where you control the throttle and pressure. And there is also an indicator light regarding that if the light is on prior to engaging the throttle. Just beneath that area, you'll find an audible alarm. And we'll cover this area here in the next set of images as a close-up for these gauges, or I'm sorry, for these switches. Let's move down at the very bottom here. You have in blue your water level. This is your tank water. Moving to the right, this is your tank fill and recirculating line. And just to the right of that, you'll find an indicator. This is not a switch. It is your pump engaged. It will indicate when your pump is properly engaged. Moving down in the primer for your fire pump. And to the very far right, this is your engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. I should mention just underneath the fire primer, it's best if you engage the throttle to at least 1,000 RPMs. Moving further down, you'll find your tank to pump. And as we look to the right, there is a warning here regarding the operation when the vehicle is in motion for standing or riding on the side. Let's go ahead and move up. There are the 2.5-inch discharge ports at the top here. There are 2 of them. Moving down to the lower side here, this is your auxiliary foam inlet. Moving further down, this is going to be a drain. It's a twist, not a pull. And as we move further down, you're going to find all of the drains associated with each one of those color-coded and label discharges. Because this is an aerial device, there is a hazard of electrical entanglement. So that's what the danger label is here for. Moving to the right is your 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. Further moving over, because there is pressure associated behind the pump cap, be cautious when removing caps under pressure. Your large diameter behind this Pierce logo is your large diameter intake. To the right, this is your pump drain. Moving further down in the red area, your Watrous information and placard regarding the serial number and pump type. Moving further down behind this access door, we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the slide that reveals the information behind it. Let's move back up to the very top. This is that warning, do not open throttle unless the light is green. On the right, your panel light, tip lights, driver side scene, passenger side scene, and rear scene. Just underneath your pump panel, you'll find your foam pump intake drain and also the foam pump discharge drain. Back up to the top, some close-ups here of your foam system. To the right, your master intake and master discharge. Point out the 2 test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. General view here of the valves.
Looking down in the lower left-hand side, you'll find your flush drain valve and all the associated drains, in addition with, once again, that hazard label. Moving to the right, this is your driver's side auxiliary inlet drain. Behind this access door, we'll talk a little bit about that. This is for your foam system. As we open the door, you'll find the lever in its current horizontal position. That is for operation. To fill, move the handle to a vertical position, and then for once you've completed filling, restore it back to the vertical position for normal foam operations. On the side of the pump panel, you'll find 3 folding steps for accessing the top section. On the very bottom, you'll find a pull-out step so that you can access and operate controls on the pump panel. This is a 2-step part. Once it's been pulled out, there's a top section that folds out to gain full access to the entire step. Let's go ahead and start now looking at some of the components in the rear portion of your apparatus. Let's first start with the compartment with the roll-up door that's currently in the open position. You'll find at the very top your Shore Power auto charger, and also next to that you'll find your air compressor. Moving just to the right of this location near the Shore line outlet, you'll find 12-volt DC power, barrel style. Let's go ahead and look behind this roll-up door. You'll find tool storage. This is capable of storing tools on the face and also on the back side. From this location, let's just move down onto the area near the rear wheel. You'll find just in front of that the stabilizer, and we'll also find a compartment here for bottle storage. Moving down from this location, you'll find your DEF fill. This is a 4.5 US gallon tank. It has a blue cap. Let's move back to the very rear section. Just above, you'll find a side-facing warning light. Once we reveal behind the contents of this door, you'll find your SCBA bottle storage, in addition with a silver diesel fuel. This is low sulfur emission fuel, and it has a silver cap. Let's move back to the very back with the Eagle American flag. In this roll-up door, we'll find a variety of shelf configurations. At the very top, a small adjustable shelf. Down lower, a larger section of a shelf that's also adjustable. Upper right-hand corner, you'll find once again 12-volt DC power out. At the very rear of your apparatus on the side, in between your steps moving upward, you'll find this access door. This gains access to the cluster of wires in this area. Let's go ahead and move now back to the rear section of your apparatus. We'll talk about some of the components here. As you can see in this image, the ladder in the fully extended position for gaining access to the top. We'll talk a little bit about the components on the top of your vehicle in the next set of images, but first let's start at the very rear of your apparatus and cover some components in this area. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner. You can see that you have right and left floodlights in the back, in addition with a cluster of lights down at the bottom for turn, brake, emergency, and reverse. Let's now move up to the upper left-hand corner of the rear of the apparatus. You can see right and left you have floodlight rear facing. In this access door, you'll find your ground ladders, one extension and the other 2 straights. Just above that area, you'll find hose deployment storage all the way up to the very front of your apparatus. These are the 2 on the passenger and driver side. Let's go ahead and move to the rear of the apparatus. Let's talk about this roll-up door. This is going to be a large space. There are currently no shelves in this area, but there can be shelves added at any point in time. The track system is in place. Moving to the right, you'll find an additional access door. Behind this, you'll find also ladder storage, in addition with tool storage for your long 6, 8, 12 pike poles. Moving up to the very center, you'll find your traffic advisor. There are also on each side entanglement hazard warning labels. Moving down to the lower section, you'll find an additional access door. Behind this is your stabilizers for the driver's side stabilizer control and your rear stabilizer control. Moving down or just into the center, you'll find your large diameter intake. You'll also find your large diameter intake pressure. And just up from this location, you'll find this access door. This is for manually overriding your system for your stabilizers. Moving back down to the right, you'll find your aerial drain. Inside this compartment is a location for that aerial drain. Let's move under the apparatus. You'll find your rear-facing perimeter lights. In addition, within the center, you'll find your center stabilizer. Moving to the right side of the apparatus, you'll find an additional access panel door. Let's go ahead and take a look inside here. This is going to be your stabilizer for the passenger side and also that rear stabilization control. Generalized view here of the side of your apparatus. Let's talk about some of the components, and then from there we'll move to the cab. Looking at the side of your vehicle, you'll find that once again access door on the lower section of the stairs going up. But let's talk about this compartment here, roll up with the Eagle American flag. In this compartment, upper right hand corner, you'll find that 12-volt access barrel style power and also a adjustable fixed shelf. Moving just forward of this location, you'll find your large roll-up door here in length. As we look inside, you'll find an adjustable shelf in this location, and I should mention also that all of the compartments have lighting within inside. Moving down just above the rear tire, you'll find bottle storage location or additional storage. Moving to the forward location, once again, bottle storage or additional storage location. Just beneath that, you'll find this warning label regarding the use of electrical hazards for your aerial, and you'll also find a hot exhaust label regarding the temperatures of your exhaust. Let's move to the next roll-up compartment. As we look inside, once again, upper right-hand corner, you have that 12-volt DC power and also an adjustable shelf. We'll now move to the midsection here at the pump panel. You'll find two fold-down steps in addition with work lights. At the very top, you'll find your cross lays. We'll move down from that location. There is a 2.5-inch discharge on this side. There is also an access panel. Behind that access panel is the location for your strainer. This is also the location just to the right of that for your large diameter intake, your large diameter discharge, and also a 2.5-inch discharge. Down at the very bottom, you'll find tub storage for hose. In addition, slightly above that, the drains for all of that. On the back of the cab, you'll find your visual indicator for water. Let's go ahead and pull just out and look inside the cab on the passenger side. You'll find the red loop here on the hinge side. Those are for pull handles to gain access inside. Generalized view here looking inside the cab of your vehicle at the heating and air conditioning unit and also your David Clark headsets. Located in the very back, you have a single SCBA seat, forward facing. As we look overhead once again, you can see there are two headsets here for the two rear facing SCBA seats. We're now moved up to the very front of the apparatus, right hand side officer seat. Your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system in this area. You can see the SRS label. In addition, underneath that, a warning label regarding that SRS. Let's move now to the driver's side. We'll talk a little bit about some of the components within the operator's compartment. First, let's start at the door. You'll see this warning label regarding the use of seat belts and the hazards associated with it. Down at the lower right-hand side, you'll find your Shore Power auto charger. Just behind the operator's seat is where you'll find this tool, which is your manual cab tilt. Also at about foot level, you'll find a warning label regarding the hazards with diesel exhaust, also equipment damage, and to seek your service manual. You'll also find this yellow label regarding the date of manufacture, job number, gross vehicle weight rating, the VIN number, and also types of fluid capacities for your vehicle. Your seat is equipped with air ride. The controls are at the very front of the seat. Moving just to the very back section here of the seat or side, you'll see that you also have SRS here and also the red seat belts for easy visualization. Looking down onto the floorboard, you'll find two foot pedals, one the air horn, the other your mechanical siren. Located at the knee level of the operator, you'll find some diagnostic ports. The green port is your engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port. To the very right of that, you'll find your display port. And at the very top is your, in black, is your tech module. The switches down below are for your for your ABS diagnostic, engine diagnostic, regen inhibit, and also your DPF regen. Let's move just up from this location where you'll find your battery switch. This is in red. It is a quarter turn, clearly identified as on and off. This is the master battery switch for your apparatus. Let's go ahead and move just to the dash now. Looking at the dash, On the left, your transmission temperature, DEF level, oil pressure, water temperature, your tachometer in the center, speedometer on the opposite side. Moving further to the cluster on the right, you've got your fuel for diesel, volts, front air, and rear air. Also located in this cluster are some displays. As you can see, lit currently in the yellow are your hours at 61, and at the very top you have a parking indicator on. Down in the lower side indicating that your airbag and your battery are on. Those are all displays that will illuminate. Moving over to the left-hand side, I think we may have covered some of this, but this is your ignition, start, and hazard lights. Just to the right, you'll find this small switch labeled EM, that stands for Emergency Master, your headlights, and your panel rocker switch for brightening and dimming the panel lights. Generalized view here from the rear side of the apparatus, looking at those rear-facing SCBA seats. Looking on the opposite side of the rear-facing seats to the forward-facing seats, you'll find on each side roll-up storage compartments. As you can see here, there are two adjustable fixed shelves and also lighting. This is that forward-facing SCBA seat David Clark system in the upper left-hand corner. Located just in front of that seat, you'll find this access panel. This is for your daily checks. This is your oil and transmission location for doing your daily checks and not having to tilt the cab. Generalized view looking forward, you'll find two lights located on the doghouse area. General view, once again, just looking forward. Let's now jump back to the driver's seat. At the right knee area, you'll find a gauge here for your engine hours. And just up from that location, you'll find your high idle OK indicator and also the high idle. Moving to the right in yellow, you'll find your pull to apply system parking brakes and push to release. As we move up onto the dash area, you'll find your Pierce Information Center. This is a lot of information just at your fingertips. I would suggest seeking your owner's manual and going through the scroll menu to find various informations in this component. Moving just forward onto the dash itself, you'll find your climate control. The gray area is your heat and defrost. In the red and blue, heat and air conditioning. This is also front and rear for each of those zones. Let's move as a general view here to the side of the apparatus, right of the driver. We'll find your Allison transmission pad. We'll talk about some of these push button and switches. Upper left-hand corner is your aerial master, your aerial PTO, and you can see that's currently lit is the load manager, and the others are blank. Those are future switches if you deem necessary. Just below that, you'll find your engine retarder on-off, also your auto apply, front wheel lock, in addition with your mirror heat and two future switch locations. Moving to the right of this location, you're going to find your pump shift and also your mirror control. The very top, flat, on the other side, your convex, and this is your pump shift to go from road to pump and vice versa from pump to road. There is an OK to pump and also an engaged pump. These are both green indicators. Let's look overhead of the operator, looking toward the passenger side. Let's move overhead to the left-hand side, and you'll find this yellow placard, height 11 feet, 8.5 inches, the length 39.2, and gross vehicle at 28.25. This is also the location of your emergency master, roof light, front warning, and side warning. Moving down is your lower rear warning, upper rear warning, your high beam, flash, and also the control to turn on or off your Opticom. Moving just to the right of this location, you'll find an additional set of switches. This is your siren brake, driver side scene, passenger side scene, and rear scene, and once again, a couple of future switch locations if needed. Let's move just to the right of this location and we'll find our siren control. This is your PA system for public announcement. There's a volume and also the microphone, and also your radio, standby, whale yelp, and high-low. Also moved in this area is the traffic advisor. It has an off, high, and low setting, left, right, split, and flash. And to the right of that, you'll find currently illuminated in red. This is your Pierce seatbelt indicator. There's also one on the control panel. Currently indicating red as if someone is in the seat and not belted. If they were belted, they would be illuminated green. Let's pull back out and go over to the driver's side. We already talked about the SRS system. Let's talk a little bit about your air ride seat. Your vehicle is equipped in this section once again with a air ride seat which has controls and adjustments, and it also is outfitted with an SCBA. Just under the front section of your seat, you'll find the air control for the up and down comfort level, and then you'll also find a bar across the front. This will allow you to slide the seat forward and backwards. Overhead of the officer position, you'll find the David Clark system, push-to-talk buttons, and volume control. Located on the dash, lower left-hand side, you'll find the parking brake for the passenger, in addition with two barrel-style 12-volt and a 12-volt USB style. Also near the center console, you'll find your siren brake at about left-hand side of the passenger, a center-mounted grab handle, and also a glove box. Overhead, you'll find a blank location for future components and also the seatbelt information sign. Also, you'll find, once again, those candy cane style spare wiring behind the panel, and also a blank just beneath that for additional components. Directly located in the center of your apparatus at the front near the windshield, you'll find this red light. It's indicating, if lit, that you should not move your apparatus. You have a compartment door open. Let's go ahead and move to the front of your apparatus. This is the location of your Opticom, located over the driver's seat. As we now take a look at your aerial device, you can see in the red section, detachable section that can be replaced. You also have forward-facing tip lights. On the right-hand side of the vehicle, you'll find this latch, which is for pinning your waterway at the distant portion instead of being at the tip. As we move to the very back section of your apparatus, you'll find this tip forward-facing floodlights. We'll now move to the front section here, a rear section of your apparatus. This is your center console. This is an audible alarm. Also on the right-hand side of the panel here, or pedestal, you'll find warning labels. As we go ahead and open this compartment up, you'll find at the very top your communication to the person at the tip. Just beneath that, you'll find your emergency shutdown. This is a mushroom-style panic button push. Just down from that, you'll find your Pierce information. This houses a lot of information at your fingertips. Familiarize yourself with that. Moving down to the lower section, you'll find your 3 controls. On the left-hand side of the panel, you'll find all of the ladder information regarding weights and capacities and flow. And you'll also find a set of warning and hazard labels down in this area, including some danger labels. Also located at the base of the pedestal is that audible alarm. As we look at the ladder itself, 4-section fly, there are 2 sets of folding steps, one in the first fly here and at the one at the very end of the fly. This is for when you're choosing to pin the waterway at a lower level. This is the top section here of those fold down steps. This is for when your waterway is at the tip. Moving down, you'll find at the tip of the ladder this crush indicator, and as we move to the mechanism for allowing you to lower your waterway, currently in the position now, it is the waterway is at the tip. As I move it down to the next latch, it will pin it down to a lower position. As I move just down to the right, you'll find a set of 3 switches. This is for your nozzle control. Congratulations, North Las Vegas, on your new apparatus, job number 30363. If you have any questions as to the content of this video or any questions, please raise those with your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations on your new piece of equipment.